way station at the moment. One of the big questions, of course, is where do these players spawn? I'm calling bottom left and top right. Is Rifkin gonna be correct? Yes! I don't know what it is. Something about this map, even though it's supposed to be like a 50-50 chance to spawn bottom left versus bottom right, and cross spawns always, of course, it never seems to play out like that. It always seems like it's always bottom left and always top right. Irrelevant though for now. Ladies and gentlemen, having just taken down Night End, now tying up the score 2-2 in this best of 9 between these two teams, NewRoSoft and mYinsanity. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce my friend in the bottom left corner of the map, the red Zerg player from mYinsanity, Pengwin. But he's got a really freaking tough opponent up here in the top right. He's blue, he's Terran. And like I said before, he's beat some of the best Zerg players I've seen in Europe. It's going to be NewRoSoft's Krass. I don't speak German, so I don't know what they're saying, sadly. So no translation help here on my end, boys and girls. But I do wish him the best of luck. This is not going to be easy for Pengwin by any means. And again, it's not about Pengwin being good versus bad. It's about Krass being fantastic and amazing. Zethian reaching out to me to tell me I should have played We Are the Champions after he won. Perhaps. And, well, we'll see what's happening. For Pengwin, he gets the drone scout off, and I'm really glad he did this too. On Way Station, it's really tempting to go for some cheese. 2 Raxes on this map are pretty darn annoying to deal with because, well, for a multitude of reasons, but one of the biggest is just all this open area to sneak things in. Bunkers, marines, there's even the little ledges in which you can try to abuse kind of back in the day, like, what was that? Toon Valley. Sorry, it's brain fart trying to think back like to 2012, 2013. But Krass probably gonna open with a Reaper. We've seen him kind of implore that 3 Reaper strategy that seems to be very popular in Europe right now. It's something that I think is not a bad thing to do by any means, but 3 Reapers is not easy to hold off either. Pengwin, of course, we cast recently in the Stage 1 open brackets for DreamHack Bucharest. Kind of fell prey to the Hellions and the Reapers and some of the most basic stuff we've seen in ZVT, but I don't think that'll happen here today. As I don't know, he's got an Angel of StarCraft watching over him. That last game, guys, I don't like. What really disappoints me is I know that while my favorite players still have yet to play, like Joxy, like Stardust and such, it's not going to get better than that as far as Pengwin's game goes. There's nothing that's going to come down to the wire as close as that one did. And if it does, oh my god, I don't even know if my body can handle it. But we do have that second Reaper coming out, and no second gas or anything, so nothing quite so sneaky. I really want to see that third Reaper, though. I think it's such a powerful opening right now. But looks like he's going to stick with 2 and possibly just do that faster factory. Just waiting on the 150 minerals. Yeah. He may still make a third later if he finds out this first one's being really effective, but unlikely. He's usually go for the third one first. Yeah. So Pengwin just gonna dart around for the time being, catch a couple of these lings, or try and catch the Reaper with a couple of these lings. But really, he shouldn't be trying to chase off of creep. Is one of the big problems. And it's not just him who does this. A lot of players will get a little bit too, I guess, over eager to kill that Reaper, and it's kind of easy to just leave an A move while you go back to macro, building drones, etc. But the reality is, it's about the queen control. It's about staying on creep. It's about minimizing your losses for this. And in most other scenarios, you would have loved to have seen Pengwin, of course, sneak out another link, come across the map, cancel this SCV, kill this SCV, delay this third. And seeing the third as part of the wall, it's a bit odd to some, as this is not really a tactic utilized a lot by many, but on Way Station and a lot of these new maps, the chokes are odd and strange, and sometimes you need that quicker wall up. Again, 6 minutes for an all-in, 7 minutes if you're worried about roaches, things like this. It's only really, really bad on this map if it's top left and bottom right spawns, because look at the size of this choke compared to the size of this choke. I think this one requires like 2 whole extra depots or 3 extra depots or something like that. It's pretty insane. Anyways, 2 Reapers still mucking around here in the main. There are 3 queens out though, so they're not going to get a lot done. Pengwin, though, this time does have creep spread going for him. So something I was a little bit worried on Ultra Z that he'd get caught off guard trying to run those queens around to chase oracles, but with his creep spread and creep dedicated queens out and available, he'll have no problem dealing with these. So again, these will be a bit of a nuisance. Maybe they'll pop off a ling, maybe they'll deny a creep tumor or 2, but until the Hellions come, there's no real threat from these. Yeah, gets another. Oh, actually, we'll get a drone on the transfer. Not too shabby. Pulls the drones in. That was the most awkward, like, well, I guess I'll fight type moment I've seen. I think that drone got away with 1 HP. It did. 1 HP hype. But stay back on the way for Krass. We still don't see those Hellions coming across the map yet. I think he's really expecting Lings to have run around this by now. But Pengwin, you know, he didn't go for that faster speed. Actually, worth noting, he's not even going for it at all by the looks of it. Oftentimes, you'll see players kind of go for that very, very, very fast, like, gas pool opening so that you can specifically get Zergling speed to deal with Reapers, to deal with Hellions, but slams down the Roach Warren instead, and this will work just fine. By not spending that 100 gas on the metabolic boost upgrade, he'll then instead have it for +1. He'll have it for armor. He'll have it for 4 additional roaches if he wants. I mean, that's the idea behind it. You want to just... If you're not going to make use of Lings anyways, make use of him. Oh, God. Oh, no, 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 no. Penguin's made a mistake. This should have been... this should have been up here. I don't know. With the wall off being in the back, or with no wall off being down, 2 queens can kind of technically kill Hellions, but let's say for a moment, let's imagine, if you guys can, that Krass had done Blue Flame instead of this. Even with roaches popping, Pengwin would have got destroyed. So this is a very brazen, very bold way to play, but again, Pengwin, I think, was kind of brought out as a bit of a filler. He wasn't expected to do much more than buy Stardust time to come online, but he managed to take a whole game off of Night End, a whole game off of NewRoSoft, so in the end, I guess he's already done his bit, so to speak. But not to count him out by any means. Roach is now popping out. He'll be able to deal with the Hellions that did not dive fast much. One got to the main to scout. And he did save the layer complete, but he also scouted no Hydralisk Den. Now, it's worth noting, guys, Roaches, you might wonder, like, okay, he got these for the early game to deal with the Hellions. What's going to do with them after this? There's already Siege Tanks up. There's Marauders coming out. There's Stim. And you're right. Roaches kind of do dick all versus either of those units. But it's the Roach Hydra composition that is so popular in CBT right now and so frustrating for a lot of Terran players to deal with. Because it seems as a Zerg player, you can take bad engagements and still come out ahead as long as you kill off enough of the Siege Tanks, as long as you kill off enough of the important units like Medevacs. But at the same token, it's kind of funny because if a player decides to forego any sort of Vikings, just builds like 15 Medevacs, suddenly you actually don't have the pushing power to kill Marines. Suddenly these Marauders live for what seems like forever. And Krass is making the thickest, strangest, weirdest wall I've ever seen, but that's a good way to use the depots, I guess. You know, if you forget to lift 1, you've got another 7 behind it. This bunker's coming down. Well, he's actually really worried about Pengwin dialing up the aggression, and rightfully so, because he's scouted no third base out of Pengwin so far. If Pengwin had been afforded the opportunity to take third, I'm fairly certain he would, but with the Hellions on the front doors and the Hydralisks soon to come, he kind of knew that that wasn't going to be the case. But you know what? I'm talking a big game about Hydralisks. No Hydralisk Den thrown down yet. He's just going with this big Roach bust, and I feel like this is a big mistake. There's no reason for him to have expected Krass not to have Siege Tanks behind this. This insanely crazy wall will keep the Roaches back. They're going to funnel into a huge amount of Marines, and Pengwin, forced now to disengage, gets 3 depots for his troubles. I think he probably could have honestly stayed to get a couple more. Probably could have killed like 4 or 5. Perhaps bait out of Krass, a mistake, I don't know. But yeah, there comes the Hydralisk Den, and you know what? I'd love to see a Nidus Worm at some point in this game. Roach Hydra is really difficult to deal with perfect positioning. But if for one instant Krass isn't paying attention to his main and that goes up, he loses everything. But I always love to talk about Nidus Worms, and I always love to get nerdy about it because I think Nidus Worms are some of the coolest darn things in the game. Those and nukes. David Kim, find a way to make them more viable, please. Anyways, just as we're in a bit of a, I guess, downtime here, for those who are just tuning in, the score is currently 2-2 for both of these teams. We had Night End taking a nice lead there for NewRoSoft for a bit, but Pengwin was able to even that up in that last series. And again, the VODs are available free on Twitch, and they'll be up on YouTube later tonight, guaranteed, guys. But check out that last game. If you're watching the VOD of this game or watching this live and you missed the last one, go look at the Ultra Seam match on Game 3. You will not be disappointed, I promise. Kind of move out across. I've been wanting people to do this for a while, but Terran players seem to have been really reluctant about doing this. They've been placing the thirds over here, but he decides to take the island base. He even transfers some SCVs over, and if your opponent's going Roach Hydra, you don't have to worry about Mutalisks. You don't have to worry about these sort of run-by type units that'll kill this third for free. So I love, again, that Krass has done this. It's pretty cool. Reading the situation, know what's going on. This depot wall is the weirdest, messiest thing I think I've seen in a long time. I'm not sure what the goal of it is, but I guess it did his job early of keeping the roaches out. If there had only been 1 depot, they would have been on top of the tanks right away. So yeah, I don't know. It just is weird. There's no real analysis around it. But yeah, there's a lot of tanks out. The idea for this too is you know, there's not going to be Blinding Cloud for quite some time. Zerg players, whether they're playing Banelings and Mutalisks or whether they're going Roach and Hydra, it's... actually, hang on, where is this drop going off? Sorry. I saw workers dying and I'm busy looking all over else on the map. I was going to say, though, you typically don't see a lot that can deal with tanks early on. That's why you don't see a lot of Zerg players push too fast either. But once Blinding Clouds come out, once Abducts are available, I mean, that all changes in a big way. Drop going to go off here as well. There's already Hydralisk here waiting for it, though, so this medevac should go down if Pengwin's quick to respond. He is. It's worth noting, though, Group Spine's still not finished, still only just researching, so a bit unfortunate in that regard. But the medevac count here is not high enough, I feel. He's pushing with 4, and this Bioforce, I don't think it can contend with what Hydralisks and Roaches bring to the party. Especially with the tanks thing at home, this is a mistake, I feel. Like, cleans up a bit of creep, though, which is nice. I mean, Hydra still move pretty fast off creep with those muscular augments, but everything's always better and faster on creep. There's no questioning that. So Snipes up a couple of Marines on the retreat here. Some more depots will probably go down for free. But with all the depots down, actually, he baits Pengwin into the fight. Was this on purpose? Is this a mistake? I don't know, but the depots are down, and the bunker's falling. Siege Tank gets focused, and Pengwin just trying to muscle his way in here, but this is not going to work. Sandwiched in by these Marines. I've said it before in this past, and I'll say it again. Beating Roach Hydra comes down a lot down to numbers and brute force more than anything else. Good game well played is called. And Pengwin will lose this. That's I don't know, man. Like that attack seems so weird out of Pengwin. Like you see those depots down like that. You know your opponent's got siege tanks up. I kind of feel like he just should have waited. There's nothing to prompt or force that attack out. We'll ask him and we'll nail him about it when he gets on the call here, guys.